Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, in this video, I will touch on a few topics related to Călin Georgescu, the free human being from Romania, barred in a democratic country to run for presidency. By whom? I would say by the lovers of democracy in Europe, not by the lovers of democracy in North America, but the ones in Europe. But I think behind all this are the same forces, if you know what I mean. So, in this video, I will show you Călin Georgescu's reaction to being barred from running. He can run. He's a free human being. He's a citizen of Romania, and he cannot run. He cannot be elected. People are forbidden to exercise their, freedom of choice. So you have freedom of choice, but you don't have the product to choose from. So we have Georgescu's reaction to this. Then I'm going to show you mass protests in Romania yesterday, Sunday. And I will show you something more interesting than the protest, the reaction of the Western media to this. And I will show you again who are the leaders in Europe who really protect democracy and promote democracy, and they say nothing about what's going on in Romania. Well, all right, let's start with the first article. That comes from Russia Today, the evil Russians, right? Europe is now a dictatorship, end quote, Călin Georgescu claims. Romania's presidential frontrunner has been barred from attempting to run for office again. Romanian presidential hopeful Călin Georgescu has branded the European Union a dictatorship and stated that his country is under tyranny in response to the Central Electoral Bureau, BEC, in Bucharest shooting down his candidacy for the upcoming election rerun. So on Sunday, this little commission worked, all right, and they got 1,000 challenges against him, largely revolving around the alleged anti-democratic and extremist stance. So he wants to run in a democracy, supposedly, and he is accused of being anti-democratic and extremist. Well, I don't think that being, let's say, an extremist is illegal. What's an extreme? It's someone that is not a baboon following orders. That's what an extremist is, which is to the left or to the right. Depends in whose name you go or what kind of ideology. So being an extremist, let's say, I think Christopher Columbus was an extremist. I think Churchill was an extremist. Why? He went to war, man. He was over there involved with the Germans. Well, he didn't go to war. He was not the one necessarily, but nevertheless, Christopher Columbus, Magellan, if you want, our explorers were all extremists. So you see, extremists, and even in political stance, well, I am allowed to hate, like, dislike, love, or whatever, whomever I want. You're allowed to do that. And you can go over there and say, you know what, I like this, I don't like that. And if people, if we are free, like what you say, they should be allowed to exercise their freedom of speech and the freedom of choice, which is, I'm going to vote for this extremist, which will make me an extremist. Now, if Trump, in this case, what I'm going to use as an example, is an extremist, well, the fact that the majority of Americans, he won by a landslide, that means most of the US society is an extremist. That means it's not an extremist anymore. What's the extreme becomes the mainstream. Anyway, why? It's the same thing as with main culture, the dominant culture. If the dominant culture is such a way, we can say, according to what is an extreme anymore? According to your assessment? Nevertheless, I think you are allowed to be as extreme as you want, as long as you don't harm. We'll find out. So, I don't think that Călin Georgescu is an extremist whatsoever. I think he's a patriot and a nationalist, which means he loves his fatherland, he loves his nation, he loves his tribe. It doesn't mean he hates anybody else. So this is his fault. He loves his country. You're not supposed to, it seems like. unless you are from the Middle East and you are over there loving your state. So what's going on here? This is, according to the ruling, Georgescu had failed to comply with the rules of the electoral procedure, violating the very obligation, listen to this, to defend democracy. Well, the very obligation. So, when did we decide on this planet, right here, on this planet, when did we decide that democracy should be the only or the best form of society? There is a form. I like it to a certain extent. So we have to defend it. Well, if you have to defend something, it means you don't feel like having it. Like, for instance, when I'm hungry, I go and eat. I don't have to defend, oh, you know what, I'm going to go and eat now because I think I have to defend my urge to eat. If democracy would be such a natural thing, then why do you have to defend it? Oh, there are certain people who are just, extremist. Please, my friends, these are just words. They're just words. So he was barred, and he said that European Union is a tyranny under U.S. Romania is under tyranny, and that the European Union is a dictatorship. I think it's a dictatorship. I think it's a form of socialist / communist for them over their system. That's what it is. I mean, look at the people who are over there. Look how they do with the freedom of speech. Let's say barring or banning speech they don't like. Media that they deem as propaganda, as their media, or the other media is not propaganda. I mean, please look at the definition of propaganda first and find out what it is. And if you think that our media, the free media, is not involved in propaganda, then I don't know what to say, my friends. I mean, I know what, but you will stay here 2 weeks with me. So what's going on here? I think it is under tyranny. Well, whose tyranny? Democracy is loved and promoted by those guys as long as those guys' views are predominant or dominate or they win. As long as they lose, there's no more democracy. You have to be banned. The same like the Americans did with the Russian oil and gas in Europe. We can't compete with you, but we like free market. We like capitalism. We can't compete because yours is cheaper. We can't find forms to get our product cheaper and better than yours. Therefore, we're going to work behind the scenes and impose sanctions on you. So you can't sell your product, Mr. Georgescu, because you would win. This is the form of the fake matrix that we live in. Now, let me show you how. This is Protests Erupt, an anti-NATO Romanian presidential favorite booted from vote. That Romanians started doing all this. I'm glad they did. And there were a lot of security forces over there, police, and it was, good that the Romanians had the courage to do that. Why the courage? And they're not yet fat, sitting and sipping their beer and watching TV or their game or whatever it is over there. That's very good. So the country's electoral bureau has barred Călin Georgescu from running for office in May. So there's erupted anti-NATO Romanian presidential no, I think it's pro-Romanian presidential favorite. It's not anti-NATO. It's like, let's say someone will, and some people do that, and read comments from time to time, and some people say, you're a pro-Russian, you're a pro-Putin, you're a pro... Is this what do you think characterizes me? I mean, if you think so, that means there's a very limited way of assessing a person. That means a poor, skills of judging a character. You have to look at the entirety, and you're gonna realize there's something else behind this. But nevertheless, so the Russians consider here that they should just say anti-NATO Romania, no problem. So let me show you how the defenders of democracy. So the guy was barred, okay, because he is not doing what he's supposed to. And now let's see how the Western media portrays the headlines in the Western media, and you will not be surprised. I said protest Romania. San Antonio Express News. All right. Romania election protest. Nothing. It's just a neutral statement. Romania's electoral protest, and then anti-government protest rally. Romanian blocks frontrunner, Romania bars far right. You see that you have to like that because it's supposedly these guys are bad with far right. Again, tens of thousands protests in Romania's capital. This is January 12. And this is the one that I'm very interested in. Romania, CNN. Chaos erupts after far right frontrunner banned from, this is the article, from presidential vote. So CNN already tells you that, oh, actually, if it's a far right, I think we should bar him. I think that if the gas comes from Russia and we can't compete with it, I think we should bar it. I think if you say something I don't like, I think you should be barred. I think if you ride a bike and I don't ride a bike and I don't like people who ride bikes, I think you should be barred. I think we should make it illegal to ride bikes. That's the way it goes. So then when I come to power, I bar everything I don't like. And when you come to power, you bar everything you don't like. I mean, that's a way. And we are in that position as of now. My point here is chaos. So it's chaos. Why? Because this pig from the far right just, was barred for good reason, because it's far right, right? It's chaos. That means just go back in your cages, consume whatever we give you, garbage to consume, get your little things, put your little masks, and shut the fuck up, and stay there in your cages. This is the chaos. I will tell you a little story about Romania after 1990, after 1989, after the revolution and how they killed Georgescu as a dog. They killed him with our hands, like they did with Jesus, your savior. They did it through the Romans' hands. It's the same thing, my friend, the same thing. So I will tell you how we Romanians then were told, don't rock the boat, don't make chaos in the country. We have to stabilize Romania to be stable for the foreign investments. So don't say that, don't rock the boat, don't say everybody should. This was the predominant garbage promoted on the TV by the guys in charge of us. Don't say that we're gonna scare the foreign investors. The investments will be, because it's chaos. The same thing right now. It's chaos in Romania. Don't do this. Go back home. Go back home. It's okay, Georgescu. Don't even think about it. Forget about Georgescu. We have this product right here. Same thing. We're told to shut the fuck up because the investments. And my point, even though I was very young, then I was thinking, why don't we do it through us? Why do we need that? Why do you have to beg? Because they don't come here because they want to help you. They want to get something from you to have profits. That's the only goal. So they can invest. That means buying and investing here. And whenever they can blackmail you and say, if you don't do this, I'm going to leave, take my money and leave. Or you can do it on your own, with your own production. Why don't try that? Are you an imbecile? Yeah. That was the reaction. All right. And I was an extremist, by the way. So let's see what the new leader of democratic world. I want to know if any of these guys I will mention here, that are democratic as I am Zimbabwean, said or would say about Călin Georgescu being barred. I guarantee you nothing. So who can replace the United States of America? Well, first, there's not a democratic world, as you can tell. I'm not saying Romania was ever democratic. It was a pretense. That's my assessment of Romania. Yesterday I made this video right here on top. Georgescu is out. Romanian democracy didn't die. And I said, it wasn't born. That's how I entitled this one. I said, we need a culture revive. And it's all over. But this is the one. Romania had a democracy as I will refer you to, where black men rules. I think that's where something like this is the book. Picker, something like this. In 1904, it was a book written by an English guy who visited Haiti. And in Haiti, it was, as it is right now, the guy was a liberal, like, oh, I want to, when a black man rules or something like this. If you remember what happened in 1806 or 1804, the Haitian massacre of the French population over there, the whites, that was it. And even the Creoles were, but hey, that's how they got things done then. And they had everything over there in Haiti. They have everything. You have a power plant? Yeah, it's a power plant. It was right there, but it was not working. We have roads? Yeah, we have roads with a lot of holes in it. not maintained. Do you have hospitals? Yeah, we have hospitals. The hospital was with holes in the roof and so on. Do you have military? Yeah, we have military. They had more generals than the regular, how do you call it, soldier. So they had everything as a, how some people might call it, civilized society. They have it. But was it functional? No. So Romania is democracy. Where democracy dies, it was not a democracy in the first place. Look at the baboons who led the country. Look, if you say you disagree with my assessment of the guys who were in charge, look at their decisions. And you're going to figure out, is that what we wanted as Romanians? So let's see the leaders of democracies who will have no problem saying anything about what's going on over there. Why? Because they don't like Călin Georgescu, obviously. And that this is the, as he said here, Europe is now a dictatorship under tyranny, and EU is a dictatorship. Let's see. Who do we got? All right, first here. This is Scholz with his approval rating about 20% and not even. He leads Germany. He should not be in charge. He's out. This one, an unelected official. The European citizens did not vote for her. It was the European Commission guys who voted for her, and she was planted, this is von der Leyen, was planted by the military-industrial complex, I would suspect, because she is pro buying weapons, arm yourselves, my arms manufacturing companies are behind me, and she was a defense minister of Germany anyway, just so you know who's who and what's what. And we have here, we have Germany, Japan. In Japan, look at what happened. They have, again, 20-some% approval rating over there. Germany, I'm not talking about it. Germany first is under US occupation, just so you know. And if they say something, they immediately, the guilt, Second World War guilt, is pushed on them again. Then you have Kaja Kallas. She's an infantile so-called foreign minister of the European Union. She's an appointed person. Then you have Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer had a percentage, was his party was what? 20-some% in the electorate, and he's an appointed guy. He was elected. Okay, then we had Friedrich Merz, the so-called conservative in Germany. He's got 27%. His party, 27%. He's leading Germany with a coalition garbage. Who else we're going to go here? Macron. Macron, again, is about 20%. Sikorski is the foreign minister of Poland. Are we going to talk about what? Tusk, prime minister of... no. And here we have the bad guys, far-right Alternative for Deutschland. They got 20-some%. All right, so who could be? South Korea? South Korea just impeached their president because he put what? Implemented martial law? Who? You tell me. My friends, this is a pretense. This is a pretense. This is a farce. This is a farce. And has been like this. Has been like this. You know what broke this? The internet. The internet and the fact that these guys did not ban people like, and others, many others, who tell the other side of the coin. Yeah, I think Romania was never a democracy. I don't think democracy here is, I mean, you know my assessment of the American democracy. I mean, you're offered A and B. Where is C, D, E? And then you have voting machines. You make me laugh. And you have a media that's owned by the big business who campaign donation to the people who will get elected, selected. I mean, you know what's going on. In Germany, I mean, look what they have. They have Baerbock, the foreign minister, a baboon, an infantile. The foreign minister of Germany, she doesn't know anything. I don't know if she knows how to, but nevertheless. Who else? Scholz, Macron. Macron, just democracy in France. What happened to those protesters in yellow vest protesters? Where are they? Nothing happened. What happened in France with the protests with retirement age? What happened to those guys? Where are they? Macron took the proposed law to change from 62 to 65, I think it is. Fuck. Legal. Where are the protesters? Did it help? No. No, it did not help. The same in Romania. They will create chaos for a while, and then what? If you don't have the military, all right? If you don't have the military, there's not going to be anything over there. Or an order from there. That's why, from there being, in this case, maybe United States of America. Maybe Georgescu's two last aces, sorry to say it, is the intervention of outside forces like 1989. Would be maybe Trump. That's one. And it's horrible because, wow, domestic, you can't. They did it in 1989 and since then. That's the one. And the other one, I don't know, if let's say some people with PAC decide to stop what's going on over here. Let's have it fair. Everybody goes over there. Until then, they will continue to bar this guy. You're going to go and protest over there. Very good. I like that. But you're going to solve problems as the yellow vests did it in, and there were millions were yellow vests for months. I think it was years, 1 or 2 years. They were over there protesting. And then with retirement, with pension reform in so-called in France, the same thing. There were millions at one point in one day, in 1 weekend. It was about almost 2 million in France. Are you 2 million in Romania right now protesting? I understand 17 or 18 million Romanians versus, I don't know, 50 or 60 million French. But still, are you there? What was it solved? I don't try to be pessimistic here. I tell you how things could be solved in Romania. Not with people going over there and saying, these guys are going to just smoke and drink their coffee looking down the windows at you outside in the cold. Or in the spring, whatever. What do you think we'll do? Nothing. You can do this every day and every day. So what? How can you change this? You need an order from somewhere to threaten these guys' position. They're not threatened by you being over there. Unless they're threatened, you're going to put a Marie Antoinette on them, or Louis the 16 on them. That's it. That's the only thing they're afraid of, that you're going to go in. And if you go in, NATO troops are over there, by the way. And they will use their jackals to protect democracy. I am almost certain. So you need the military to enforce clear what's going on in Romania, or an outside intervention with authority. That's it. Otherwise, Călin Georgescu, see you never. I'm happy he's still alive. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.